Dearly beloved. To History, Colorado. On behalf of myself and my colleagues from the General Assembly, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the History Colorado Center, where today we're going to make history. On the stage with me are the co-sponsors of Senate Bill 11, the Colorado Civil Unions Act. My co-sponsor in the Senate, Senator Lucia Guzman. Our House sponsors of the bill, Speaker of the House, Mark Ferrandino. And Representative Sue Schaefer. We four were the prime sponsors of this bill, but everyone else on the stage, I think, was a co-sponsor of the bill as well. And on behalf of all of them, I want to thank you for being here today to witness this event. Together, all of us, everyone in this room, has done so much work, not just this year, not just last year, but over the course of our lives to bring our movement to this point where we are about to witness real inclusion in the fabric of Colorado society. And we have a lot to be thankful for. And we have all played a very important role in moving this cause to this point. But at this moment, I would like to introduce to you the man who has the key role, the man who holds the pen, the man who's going to sign Senate Bill 11 into law, our Governor, John Hickenlooper.
Unbelievable that all of you are crammed into this huge space and have this moment to share with all of us. And it is, you know, I was thinking last night, and it's been a hard week, and you all understand that should in no way dampen our celebration, right? That this moment. So I was going to bed last night, I was remembering, he's probably out there somewhere, in 1991 or 1992, we had the Wine Coop Brewing Company was a couple years old, and our general manager left, and we promoted our bar manager. It was a guy named Chris Horner. And he was gay, and he was, I think, the first general manager of a big restaurant in Denver, and we had a couple customers came up and, you know, wanted to see the owner. And I thought they were going to compliment us, you know, what a great job he was doing. And of course, they said they weren't going to come to our business anymore. And I met one of the waitress was standing beside me, and she said, with me, she says, you know, that's not going to bother any of us at all, right? In the restaurant business, it is an intense business. You learn that every person is an individual, and they are strong or weak in times of turmoil. They have, you know, strengths and weaknesses of their emotional makeup. They have, you know, good or bad aspects of their character. But each person is a member of your team and your family, and you succeed and fail together. And that environment was a powerful one to be able to see the transformation of people's respect for others' individuality and how easy it came once you got in a situation where you were a family and that every person was equal. I remember, I think probably out here, I don't know if Tim Gill is, I trust here. Is Tim Gill here? So Tim Gill is over here to the right. Yeah. And Tim Gill took me to lunch, I think, in 1995 or 1996, around there, and was basically, I hope it's all right if I tell this story, you can go. Tim doesn't like his name, doesn't want to be out there, But he sat down and he said, you know, back in the 1870s, the 1880s, 1890s, when great wealth was created in New York, the Jewish community was ostracized in New York. And were not invited to any of the social parties. He said one way that we fought back against that was to lean into the issue and to make sure that the Jewish community at that time donated to the art museum, they donated to the symphony, they involved themselves in the community works of those people that did have power. And he looked at me with a smile and he said, we're going to do that, right? He said they were going to do that, and they did do that. And I think that if you look at those, the organizations, and it's not just One Colorado, Equal Rights Colorado, the Gill Foundation, all the different organizations that have both politically and in the community leaned in to demonstrate that the gay and lesbian, the transgendered, the bisexual community is part of all of us, right? That is part of our community, it is part of our lives, our friends, our families, that there is no excuse that people shouldn't have all the same rights. And I think that's what these folks have worked so hard and demonstrated and now in this process have created in this building about history. As Pat said, we get to make history. So thank you all for being here and making this, bigger and better. I want to give shout outs, obviously, to Senator Stedman and Guzman, Speaker Ferrandino and Representative Schaefer, the prime sponsors. We can't say your names often enough after all the challenge last year. It is a moment that the whole community has waited for so long, and really, I mean, it's the beginning of the country changing, right? That change has gotten here, it's going to keep going, it's not going to stop in Colorado, but I like to think this is a crucial point, right? A very, very crucial point. Thank you all for making that happen. Who speaks now? Is Mark next? It's only appropriate that the next speaker be the Speaker of the House, the incredible Mark Ferrandino.
When we started this journey on civil unions just over 2 years ago, I kept saying it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And that when just took a little longer, and we didn't always get it. Last year, as you know, we thought it would be the year, but this year is the when, and actually, to make it law is right now with our leadership of our governor. It's an amazing day to be here, and I thank Governor Hickenlooper for your leadership and your steadfast support of this issue and of the LGBT community. I do also have to thank, and I'm glad to thank, my colleagues and co-prime sponsors, Representative Schaefer, Senator Guzman, and Senator Stedman. It is their leadership and their hard work that we're able to get this done. I also want to thank my caucus, the Democratic caucus in the House, who last year and this year fought really hard to make sure this was a reality. As Democrats, it hasn't actually been that hard to be, and actually some would say easy to be, leading the charge. But we've had a lot of courageous Republicans in the House and the Senate who are willing to stand up and do the right thing. We have to thank Representative Murray, Representative Nickel, Representative Beasley, Senator Roberts, Senator White, and Senator Spence, all Republicans who supported this legislation. And lastly, I do want to well, not last, but I do want to thank the LGBT community, because the work you've done and people who've come before us made this day possible. And all your support outside of the building, your support in the campaign trail, and over the years has made this day possible. So thank you to you and to One Colorado for all their work.
Whoa!
And my last thanks, and unfortunately he's on a trip in Salt Lake City, and he can't be here today, but my husband Greg, for all of his support and love over the years. And I will say, now that we have a daughter, this issue has become even more personal. It was personal before, but now looking at my daughter's face when I wake up and I go and take her out of her crib and see that smiling face, to know that after the governor signs this, that she's going to have the protections just like every other family, is just, it makes my heart warm. Remiss if I didn't name one other person who unfortunately is not with us today, and that's Senator Stedman's partner, Dave, who he would be so proud standing right here with you. He was an amazing man, and I'm so glad we were able to do this in his honor and be able to make this a reality. So thank you all for being here. This bill is an amazing opportunity to honor family, love, and equality. That's what this is about. It's my pleasure to turn over to Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mark. You know, there's a Jewish saying, I may not have this exactly correct, but what it says is that if a funeral procession meets a wedding procession on a narrow street, the funeral procession is to step aside and let the wedding go forth. And as we are here today, those of us who are part of the great state of Colorado, in our great sadness over the untimely death of Tom Clements, we respectfully come here and celebrate, because this is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And let us remember all of those from the LGBT community and the straight community who have gone on before us, who are with us in spirit and not in body, but who also fought the good fight and who are with us today as we celebrate this important day. God bless you all.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Senator Guzman. Thank you, Governor, Senator Stedman, Speaker Ferrandino. And ladies and gentlemen, isn't this a great day? We're at the History Colorado Center making history. When I thought of what I could say today at this beautiful museum, my thoughts went to the fact that we are standing on the shoulders of giants. I would like to remember the persistence, the courage, and the sacrifices of the LGBT giants. First, do you remember Stonewall protesters in New York City? 40 years ago, they fought back against being arrested for peacefully assembling in a local public place. Second, Mayor George Moscone and City Council Member Harvey Milk of San Francisco were assassinated because they were supporting LGBT rights. Let's remember our United States Supreme Court that ruled Colorado's Amendment 2 unconstitutional.
Whoa!
Next, I want to shout out the name of Matthew Shepard, who was tortured and killed just for being gay. I'd like to acknowledge Senator Jennifer Vega, Senator Stedman, and Speaker Ferrandino, who have worked for years and years to make this day a reality. ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call out very importantly all of our straight allies, parents, families, and friends of lesbian gays, the Interfaith Alliance, the ACLU, One Colorado, HRC, just to name a few. Finally, I want today to be historic. It is a historic day because we are expanding equal rights to all Coloradans. So what a great day to be a Coloradan, right? Thank you.
Okay, one more short speech and then we're going to get to business. But I did have a few other things I just wanted to note, and I want to thank Representative Schaefer for her remarks about those who have gone before in our movement, because this is a movement and we are achieving a significant milestone today, and yet we know that this is not the final destination. I've been involved in this movement for over 20 years now, and I've seen incredible change in my lifetime. I was there on election night in 1992 with many of you, and I see your faces in the room, and it's great to see you, and thank you for being here. That painful night in 1992 when voters said the rights of lesbians and gay men in our society didn't matter, and that in our state they could not be protected and they were excluded in our Constitution. That was a very tragic moment, and yet it gave us so much hope and so much momentum moving forward, because we didn't take that defeat sitting down. We were in the streets, and we were in the courtrooms, and we were in the halls of the Capitol building. And because of the work that followed that loss, incredible progress was made. Don't forget the words of Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy in the Romer versus Evans opinion, overturning Amendment 2, when he explained why that law was so blatantly unconstitutional. He wrote, "A state cannot so deem a class of persons a stranger to its laws." And when you think about that problem, that exclusion, that intentional omission of persons in our society whose legal rights were written out of the Constitution, or who were omitted from the protections of our statutes, when you talk about family law and probate law and property law, we today are remedying an exclusion that has gone on for too long. With this signature that's about to occur on this bill today, Governor Hickenlooper will make sure that for once and for all, LGBT Coloradans are not strangers to our laws. And yet the law that is being signed today is admittedly imperfect. It is not an extension of equal rights. It is not something that includes us fully and on equal footing with others in our society. There is still more to do. But this law provides real and meaningful protections to families and couples and children all across our state. This is absolutely an important milestone on our road to equality. I'm very proud to have been part of it and to have worked so long for this day. I'm proud of all of us for being here together to witness a little bit of history. Governor, if you wouldn't mind being seated here at the table, I think we're ready to make a law.